Officer Velthar stared at his screen and blinked all three of his eyes. The numbers made no sense. He was on patrol duty in the outer border zone of the Vrex Empire, where nothing interesting ever happened. His job was simple and boring. Watch the sensors, report any ships, go home after his shift. That was it. But now his sensors showed something impossible. The energy signature on his screen was old. Very old. It used fusion technology that nobody had used for thousands of years, but it also showed quantum displacement readings that were completely new. The two things should not exist together. It was like finding a wooden cart with rocket engines. Velthar touched the screen with his long fingers. Maybe the sensors were broken. That happened sometimes in deep space. Radiation could mess with the equipment. He ran a diagnostic test. All systems showed green. Everything worked perfectly. He leaned back in his chair and thought about what to do. If he reported this, his commander would probably laugh at him. Young officers who saw strange things on sensors usually got mocked. The older officers would say he was seeing ghosts in the dark. But Velthar was curious. He had always been curious. That was why he joined the patrol service instead of staying home on the Vrex homeworld. He wanted to see new things. He wanted to discover something important. He checked the signature again. His computer was trying to match it with the Galactic database. Millions of known ships and technologies were stored in that database. After a few minutes, the computer beeped. It found a match. Velthar read the result and felt his skin turn cold. The match was listed as Human, Ancient Data Fragment, Extinct Species. Humans. Everyone knew about humans. They were taught in school as a warning, a violent species that destroyed themselves before they could leave their home system. They fought terrible wars with each other. Nuclear weapons, biological attacks, chemical warfare. They killed billions of their own people. The galaxy remembered them as the species that proved not everyone deserved to reach the stars. The history books said humans went extinct about 2,000 years ago. They never developed faster than light travel. They never left Earth. They died in their own fires. So why was Velthar detecting a human energy signature in deep space? He sent a message to his fleet command. He kept it simple and professional. Detected unknown energy signature at coordinates 447-889-221. Signature matches ancient human technology profile, requesting permission to investigate. The reply came back fast. Too fast. Permission denied. Return to patrol route. Likely sensor error. Human technology cannot exist in this sector. Velthar looked at his screen again. The signature was still there. It was not moving. Whatever it was just sitting in space, powered down but definitely present. He made a decision, a probably stupid decision. He changed course toward the coordinates. He did not ask permission again. Sometimes it was better to apologize later than ask permission first. His small scout ship moved quietly through space. It took 30 minutes to reach the location. As he got closer, his sensors got clearer readings. The signature was definitely a ship. A big ship, much bigger than his little scout vessel. Then he saw it. Velthar's breath stopped. Floating in the darkness of space was a warship. It was huge, maybe 3 times the size of a Vrex battlecruiser. The hull was dark gray, almost black. It had smooth lines and sharp angles. It looked dangerous even while powered down, and on the side, painted in white, were symbols. Velthar's computer translated them instantly. TRSC Indomitable. Below that, more symbols. Terran Remnant Space Command. Terran meant human. Remnant meant survivors. Velthar felt his heart's beating fast. This was impossible. Humans were extinct. Everyone knew that. The galaxy had records. Earth was a dead world, poisoned by radiation and war. There were no survivors. There could not be survivors. But the ship in front of him was real. It was not a ghost. It was not a sensor error. It was a human warship, and it was here. He took detailed scans. The ship was not just old technology. Parts of it were old, yes, but other parts were new, very new. Technology he did not recognize. The quantum displacement system was something the Vrex Empire had only theorized about. Humans had built it. Velthar sent another message to Fleet Command. This one included images, video, sensor data, everything. Human warship confirmed at coordinates 447-889-221. This is not an error. Repeat, human warship confirmed. Vessel designation Indomitable. Request immediate backup. This time, the response was different. Hold position. Do not approach. Fleet Task Force dispatching to your location. ETA 4 hours. 4 hours. Velthar settled in to wait and watch. He kept his scout ship at a safe distance. He kept scanning. The human warship did not move. It did not power up. It just floated there in the dark. Inside the Indomitable, Captain Taiho watched the alien scout ship on his own screens. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had been a captain for 20 years. He had seen many things, but today was special. Today was the day humanity revealed itself to the galaxy again. "They detected us," said Lieutenant Hana from the tactical station. She was young but very skilled. Her fingers moved quickly over her controls. "One scout ship. Vrex design. Old model." Taiho nodded. "Let them look. Let them report. That is why we are here." Dr. Sora, the xenobiologist, looked worried. She was sitting at the science station. "Are you sure about this, Captain? We could have approached differently. Sent a message first. This feels aggressive." "We are not being aggressive," Taiho said calmly. "We are simply here. If they feel threatened by our existence, that tells us something important about them." Hana checked her sensors. "The scout sent a message. Their fleet is coming. I am reading multiple warp signatures. 15 ships at least." 15, Taiho repeated. He smiled slightly. "They are either very cautious or very arrogant. We will see which one soon enough." "Should we power up weapons?" Hana asked. "Not yet. Let them come. Let them see us. Let them make the first choice." Taiho stood up from his command chair. He looked at the view screen showing the stars. "We have waited 2,000 years for this moment. We can wait a few more hours." Yuna, the AI coordinator, spoke from her station. Her voice was soft, but clear. "Captain, our other ships are in position. If you need them, they can be here in minutes." "Good. But we do this with one ship first. We need to see how they react. If we show too much strength too quickly, they will panic." The bridge was quiet. The crew knew their jobs. They had trained for this. Humanity had spent 2,000 years preparing to return to the galaxy. They had built ships. They had developed technology. They had learned from their mistakes. Now it was time to see if the galaxy was ready to meet them again. Outside, Officer Velthar watched and waited. He did not know that inside that dark human ship, people just like him were also watching and waiting. He did not know that everything the galaxy believed about humans was wrong. He was about to learn the truth. The galaxy was about to learn the truth. Humans were not extinct. They had never been extinct. They had been hiding, growing, and preparing. And now they were back. Admiral Velmon stood on the bridge of his flagship and felt satisfied with himself. 15 warships under his command, all moving toward a single target. This would be an easy victory and a great story to tell. He was old for a Vrex officer, with dark blue skin that had faded to light purple with age. His uniform had many medals. He had fought in the border wars 30 years ago. He had crushed pirate fleets. He had made smaller species surrender with just his reputation. Now he would capture an ancient human ship and become famous across the entire galaxy. "How long until we arrive?" he asked his navigation officer. 20 minutes, Admiral." Velmon smiled. Excellent. Prepare boarding teams. I want that ship intact. The technology inside will be worth billions, maybe trillions. His second-in-command, a younger officer named Krelvas, looked uncertain. Admiral, the scout's report mentioned unknown technology. Should we approach with more caution? Velmon waved his hand dismissively. It is one ship. One old ship from a dead species. We have 15 modern warships. What could possibly go wrong? He did not wait for an answer. In his mind, he was already planning the ceremony where the Emperor would give him honors, maybe a new title, maybe control of an entire sector. 20 minutes later, the Virex fleet dropped out of warp. They surrounded the dark human warship. Velmon looked at it on his view screen. It was big, yes, but it looked old. The design was strange, too smooth, too simple. The Vrex built ships with proper armor plating and weapon ports everywhere. This human ship looked almost elegant. That was a weakness, Velmon thought. Elegance was not strength. "Hail them!" he ordered. The communication officer sent a message on all standard frequencies. There was no response. "Again," Velmon said. Still nothing. "They are ignoring us," Krelvas said. "Perhaps they cannot understand our language? Then they will understand this." Velmon leaned forward. "Weapons. Fire a warning shot across their bow. Let them know we are serious." Inside the Indomitable, alarms were silent, but lights flashed on the tactical display. Hana watched the Vrex ships form a circle around them. She counted 15 vessels. Their weapons were charging. "They are preparing to fire," she reported to Captain Taiho. Taiho sat calmly in his chair. "Dr. Sora, are you ready with the translation matrix?" Sora nodded. "I have been analyzing their communication signals. I can understand their language. It is called Vrex Standard. Fairly simple grammar structure." "What are they saying?" "They are demanding we surrender our ship. They think we cannot understand them." Sora paused. "Captain, one of their ships is targeting us. Torpedo launch detected." "Let it come," Taiho said quietly. Hana's fingers moved over her console. "Point defense systems ready. I can intercept." "Not yet. Let it get close. I want them to see." On the Vrex flagship, Admiral Velmon watched the plasma torpedo streak toward the human ship. It was a standard warning shot, programmed to pass just meters from their hull. It would show them that resistance was useless. The torpedo got within 100 meters of the Indomitable. Then it simply vanished. One moment it was there, glowing bright on every sensor. The next moment it was gone, completely destroyed. Not even debris remained. "What happened?" Velmon demanded. His weapons officer checked his console frantically. "I do not know, Admiral. The torpedo just disappeared. I am detecting no weapons fire from the human ship. They did not shoot it down. It just stopped existing." Velmon felt a cold feeling in his stomach. That was not possible. You could not destroy a torpedo without firing weapons, unless the weapons were so fast that sensors could not detect them. "All ships, raise shields," he ordered. "Prepare for combat." On the Indomitable, Taiho stood up. "Hana, open a channel. All frequencies. I will speak to them." The channel opened. Taiho spoke in perfect Vrex standard, his voice calm and clear. "This is Captain Taiho of the Terran Remnant Space Command vessel Indomitable. Humanity extends greetings to the Vrex Empire. We request peaceful dialogue." On the Vrex flagship, every officer froze. The human spoke their language perfectly. The human knew who they were. The human was not afraid. Admiral Velmon felt his pride burning. How dare this primitive speak to him as an equal? How dare they destroy his warning shot? "Human captain," Velmon said, trying to keep his voice steady. "You are surrounded by 15 warships of the Vrex Imperial Navy. Your species is extinct. That ship belongs to the Empire by salvage rights. Power down your vessel and prepare to be boarded. If you resist, We will destroy you." There was a long pause. Then Taiho spoke again. "Admiral Velmon, humanity is not extinct. We are not your salvage. We are a sovereign people requesting dialogue. Stand down your weapons. We do not wish conflict." "You do not wish conflict?" Velmon laughed. "You have no choice in the matter. You are one ship. I have 15. Your next words should be surrender, or I will teach you the price of defying the Vrex Empire." Another pause. When Taiho spoke again, his voice was sad. "That is unfortunate. We had hoped the galaxy had learned peace." "Fire!" Velmon ordered. "Disable their engines. Prepare boarding teams." All 15 Vrex ships opened fire at once. Plasma cannons, missile batteries, particle beams. Enough firepower to cripple a dozen ships. The space around the Indomitable lit up with weapons fire. None of it reached the target. Point defense systems that moved faster than Vrex sensors could track destroyed every missile. Energy shields that should not exist absorbed every beam. The human ship did not even move. It just sat there, untouched, while the entire Vrex fleet fired everything they had. "Impossible," Velmon whispered. Then the Indomitable moved. It did not turn slowly like normal ships. It simply changed direction instantly, physics be damned. Acceleration that should have killed everyone inside did nothing. The ship was suddenly on the other side of the Vrex formation. "All ships, reorient!" Velmon shouted. "Focus fire!" But small ships were launching from the Indomitable now. Fighters. They moved like nothing Velmon had ever seen. They turned at angles that should have torn them apart. They dodged weapons fire that should have been impossible to dodge. One fighter pilot, a man named Jiho, laughed as he spun his craft between two Vrex ships. He was young and loved flying more than anything. This was the moment he had trained his whole life for. "This is Eagle 1, he said over the comm. "These guys are slow. I could do this all day." "Eagle 1, focus on their sensor arrays." Hana's voice came through. "Non-lethal targeting only. We are not trying to kill them." "Copy that." "Going for sensors." Jiho's fighter spun and danced between enemy ships. His weapons were precise. Small pulse lasers burned out sensor arrays but did not damage hulls. He was not trying to destroy the Vrex ships. He was blinding them. Other fighters did the same. Within minutes, half the Vrex fleet could not see properly. Their targeting systems were confused. Their sensors showed impossible readings. The Indomitable itself targeted weapons systems. Precise beams cut through shield generators. Missiles that could not be intercepted destroyed gun emplacements. But the human ship never aimed for life support, never aimed for crew sections. They were disabling, not killing. Admiral Velmon watched his fleet fall apart around him. Ship after ship went dark, weapons offline, shields down, engines sputtering. In less than 30 minutes, 12 of his 15 ships were crippled and drifting. His own flagship was next. A human missile slipped through his defenses and exploded against the shield generator. The shields collapsed. Another explosion knocked out his main weapons. A third hit disabled his engines. Warning lights filled the bridge. "Life support failing," someone reported. "Hull breach in Section 7. Velmon could not speak. This was not how it was supposed to happen. He had 15 ships. 15! How could one human vessel defeat them all? Then something strange happened. The human ship positioned itself next to Velmon's flagship. A tractor beam activated, holding the damaged Vrex ship steady. Data transmitted to the Vrex computers showed shield frequencies. "What are they doing?" Krelvis asked. "They are giving us their shield frequencies," the science officer said in disbelief. "They are extending their shields around our ship. They are protecting us." A message came through on audio only. It was Dr. Sora's voice, speaking gentle Vrex standard. "Vrex vessels, this is the Indomitable. We are transmitting emergency shield frequencies to protect your damaged ships. Medical teams are standing by if you need assistance. We did not return to the galaxy to conquer. We returned because isolation is not living. Please respond if you need help. Admiral Velmon sat in his command chair and felt something he had not felt in decades. Shame. He had attacked first. He had refused dialogue. He had been so sure of his superiority. And the humans had defeated him easily, then offered to save his crew. Officer Velthar, watching from his scout ship at the edge of the battle, could not believe what he was seeing. Everything he knew about warfare had just been proven wrong. The humans had won, but they were not acting like conquerors. They were acting like rescuers. Maybe, Velthar thought, humanity was not the species the galaxy remembered. Maybe they had changed. Maybe they had learned. News traveled fast across the galaxy. Within hours, every major empire knew what happened at the Forgotten Reach. A single human warship had defeated 15 Vrex vessels without destroying any of them. Then the humans had saved the crews they defeated. The galactic communication networks exploded with activity. Some species were excited, some were terrified. Some did not believe the reports at all. On the Vrex homeworld, Counselor Drexathon watched the battle recordings for the 5th time. He was old and wise, with skin so pale it was almost white. He had served the Vrex Empire for 60 years. He had seen many things, but this troubled him deeply. "Play it again," he told his assistant. "The part where their fighter dodges our missiles." The hologram showed the human pilot named Jiho spinning his small craft between 3 Vrex warships. Missiles chased him from all directions. He should have died. Instead, he moved in ways that made no sense. He turned left and right so fast that he should have been crushed by his own acceleration. But he was fine, laughing even. The audio picked up his voice saying something about this being fun. "Their inertial dampeners are beyond anything we have," the assistant said quietly. "Our scientists say the technology should not work. The math does not support it." "Yet it works," Drexthan said. "What else?" "Their weapons are precise beyond our capabilities. Their shields regenerate faster than we can damage them. Their sensors can track objects we cannot even detect. And their ship moved instantly, no acceleration curve. It just changed direction." Drexathan turned off the hologram. "We attacked them unprovoked. Admiral Velmon ignored their request for peace. We fired first, and they still saved our crews." He looked at his assistant. "What does that tell you?" The assistant thought carefully. "That they are stronger than us, but not cruel. That they could have killed thousands of Vrex, but chose not to." "Exactly. Which means they are dangerous in a different way. They are dangerous because they are reasonable." Drexthan stood up from his chair. "Call the other counselors. We need to discuss this immediately." Meanwhile, on the Indomitable, Captain Tejo was in a meeting with his senior staff. Colonel Minho had just arrived from the Marine deck. He was a big man with scars on his face and a serious expression. He commanded 300 Marines on the ship. "The Vrex tried to board us during the battle," Minho reported, "their boarding pods attached to our hull. We let them in." Dr. Sora looked shocked. "You let them board us?" "Yes. They came in wearing combat armor and carrying weapons. We were waiting in the corridor." Minho smiled slightly. "We showed them what human Marines can do. Non-lethal force only, as ordered. They are all unconscious in our medical bay now. Our doctors are taking care of them." Hana pulled up a tactical display. "We are detecting more ships approaching. Not Vrex this time. I am reading signatures from the Kelthoran Compact and the Silicate Confederacy. Looks like everyone wants to see the humans for themselves." "How many ships?" Tejo asked. 43 so far. More arriving every hour. This is turning into a gathering of the entire galactic military." Tejo nodded slowly. "Then we need to show them something. Yuna, contact the Shadow Fleet. Tell them to reveal themselves." Yuna, the AI coordinator, looked surprised. "All of them, Captain?" "All of them. It is time the galaxy knows the truth. We are not one ship. We are not a small remnant. We are a civilization. Yuna worked her console. She was connected directly to the ship's AI systems, which let her send messages faster than normal communication. Within seconds, she had contacted 30 other human ships hidden in nearby space. Shadow Fleet acknowledging. They are powering up now. Across the sector, stars began to shimmer, cloaking fields deactivated. One by one, human warships appeared. Some were as large as the Indomitable. Some were smaller, sleeker, built for speed. Some were massive carriers that held hundreds of fighters, 30 ships total, all appearing at once, all clearly human design, all showing the same advanced technology that had defeated the Vrex fleet so easily. On the bridge of a Kelthoran warship, Captain Vreshkor stared at his sensors in disbelief. The Kelthoran were insect-like beings with compound eyes and chitinous armor. They were known across the galaxy as master strategists. 30 ships, Vreshkor clicked in his language. They hid 30 ships from our sensors. How is that possible? His science officer had no answer. Their cloaking technology is beyond our understanding. We have theory about such systems, but we thought they were impossible to build. Clearly not impossible, Vreshkor said. Contact the compact leadership. Tell them we need to treat these humans as equals, not relics. They are a major power, perhaps the strongest power we have encountered. On a Silicate Confederacy ship, the crystalline beings who served as that empire's military were having similar conversations. The Silicates communicated through light patterns that flickered across their transparent bodies. They were ancient and proud. They did not like surprises. One Silicate commander sent a light message to their homeworld. Humans represent unknown variable. Recommend caution. Do not engage without full intelligence. The response came quickly. Agreed. Observe only. Learn their capabilities. Report all findings. Back on the Indomitable, Dr. Sora was reviewing the medical data from the injured Vrex crew members. They will all recover, she told Taiho. Some broken bones, concussions, nothing permanent. Our Marines were very precise with their force. Good. Have them sent back to their ships when they are ready. Include medical supplies and a message of goodwill. Captain? Hana interrupted. I am getting a transmission. It is from Officer Velthar, the scout who first discovered us. He wants to speak with you directly. Taiho raised an eyebrow. Put him through. The view screen showed the young Vrex officer. He looked nervous, but determined. Captain Taiho, I am Officer Velthar. I was the one who found your ship. I wanted to thank you for saving Admiral Velmon and his crew. You did not have to do that. Yes, we did, Taiho said simply. We returned to the galaxy to live with other species, not to kill them. Your admiral made a mistake, but that does not mean his crew deserved to die. Velthar hesitated. May I ask a question? The galaxy believes humans destroyed themselves 2,000 years ago. Where have you been? How are you here? Taiho considered how much to reveal. Then he decided the truth was best. Not all humans died in the wars. Some of us left Earth before the final conflicts. We traveled beyond the galactic rim to a cluster of stars where no one else lived. We built colonies there. We raised families. We learned from our mistakes. For 2,000 years. Yes, we spent that time asking ourselves what went wrong, why we fought, why we killed each other. We studied our history. We changed our culture. We made sure the next generation would be better than the last. Taiho leaned forward. We did not return to conquer. We returned because we finally believe we are ready to be part of the galactic community. Velthar was quiet for a moment. Many species will not trust you. They will fear your power. We know. That is why we must prove ourselves through actions, not words. We saved your fleet because we wanted to show what humanity has become. We are still warriors. We can still fight. But we choose peace when possible. I will tell my leaders what I have seen, Velthar said. I cannot promise they will listen, but I will try. You saved my life today, Captain. I will not forget that. The transmission ended. Taiho stood and walked to the view screen showing the gathered ships. There were nearly 60 now. From a dozen different species, all watching, all waiting. They are afraid of us, Hana said quietly. Yes, but fear can become respect if we are patient. The galaxy has been at peace for a long time. They have grown comfortable. We are a reminder that peace must be maintained, not assumed. Colonel Minho joined him at the view screen. What if they decide we are too dangerous to exist? What if they unite against us? Then we fight, but we fight defensively. We protect ourselves, but we do not attack. Eventually, they will see we are not the threat they imagine. Taiho turned to his crew. We are making history right now. Everything we do will be studied for generations. Every choice matters. We must be strong, but we must also be wise. A new transmission came through. This one was from the Galactic Council itself, the ruling body that governed relations between the major empires. The message was formal and cold. Human vessel Indomitable, you are hereby summoned to appear before the Galactic Council on the station Zenith Prime. You will explain your presence, your capabilities, and your intentions. Failure to comply will result in hostile action from the combined fleets of the Council. You have 24 hours to respond. Taiho read the message twice. It was not a request. It was a demand. The Council was trying to assert authority over humanity before humans could become too powerful. How should we respond? Dr. Sora asked. Taiho smiled. We accept, of course. We want to talk to the Council, but we do not go alone. We bring our fleet, all 30 ships. We show them exactly what humanity has become. That might provoke them, Sora warned. Perhaps. But hiding our strength would be dishonest. We go openly, honestly, and ready for anything. That is the human way now. No more secrets, no more lies. We face the galaxy as we are. He turned to Yuna. Contact our diplomats. Tell Ambassador Nari that she needs to prepare for the most important negotiation in human history. Tell her we are going to Zenith Prime, and we are bringing everyone. The crew moved to carry out their orders. Ships began preparations for travel. Diplomats reviewed galactic law. Marines checked their equipment. Everyone knew what was coming. Humanity was about to face the entire galaxy at once. The outcome would determine everything: war or peace, acceptance or rejection, a future among the stars or a return to isolation. Captain Taiho looked out at the stars and felt ready. 2,000 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity would not fail. They could not fail. Too much depended on success. The galaxy was about to learn what humans had learned long ago. That survival required more than strength. It required wisdom, patience, and the courage to change. Zenith Prime was the most important space station in the galaxy. It floated in neutral space between the three major empires. The station was massive, home to millions of beings from hundreds of species. At its center was the Council Chamber, where the leaders of the galaxy met to make decisions that affected trillions of lives. Ambassador Nari had never been to Zenith Prime before. No human had. But she had studied it for years, preparing for this moment. She was a small woman with white hair and calm eyes. She had been a teacher before becoming a diplomat. She understood that the best way to win an argument was to listen first. She stood on the bridge of the human transport ship Morning Star and watched Zenith Prime grow larger on the view screen. Behind her ship came 30 human warships in formation. They were not hiding. They were not threatening. They were simply present. Impressive station, said Captain Doyen, who commanded the Morning Star. He was younger than Taiho, but equally skilled. I count 15,000 defense platforms. Maybe more. They are trying to intimidate us, Nari said calmly. All those weapons pointed at our ships. They want us to feel small. Do you feel small, Ambassador? No. I feel determined. She turned to him. How are the crew? Ready for anything. If shooting starts, we can defend ourselves. There will be no shooting. Not if I can help it. Nari checked her data pad. The council session begins in 2 hours. I have reviewed all the protocols. I know what to expect. What she expected and what actually happened were very different things. The council chamber was a huge circular room with seats arranged in tiers. Representatives from 47 different species sat in those seats. At the highest tier sat the High Chancellor Kresvar, a being whose species was so old that nobody remembered their original name. Everyone just called them the Ancients. Kresvar looked like a floating robe with eyes that glowed blue. Ambassador Nari entered the chamber alone. The rules said only one representative per species. She walked to the center of the room and stood in a spotlight. Thousands of eyes watched her. The weight of their attention was enormous. Ambassador Nari of the human species. Kresvar's voice echoed through the chamber. It sounded like wind through metal. You stand before the Galactic Council to answer questions about your people. We have many questions. I am ready to answer, Nari said clearly. First question. Where have humans been for 2,000 years? Nari had prepared for this. We left Earth before the final wars. A group of scientists and civilians built generation ships and traveled beyond the galactic rim. We found a cluster of uninhabited star systems and settled there. We have lived there ever since, building a new civilization. Why did you hide? Asked a representative from the Silicate Confederacy. Why not contact the galaxy sooner? Because we were not ready. We needed time to change, to learn, to become better than we were. Our history on Earth was violent. We did not want to bring that violence to the galaxy. A Kelthoran representative clicked forward. Yet you bring warships, 30 of them. Your Captain Taiho defeated 15 Vrex ships easily. This is violence. That was self-defense, Nari replied. We requested peace. Admiral Velmon attacked us. We defended ourselves without killing anyone. We then saved the crews we defeated. Is that violence or mercy? The chamber erupted in discussion. Some species agreed with Nari. Others argued that any combat was violence. Still others claimed humans should have surrendered to prove their peaceful intentions. High Chancellor Kresvar raised a hand and silence fell. Second question. How many humans exist? This was the question Nari had debated answering honestly. She could lie, make the numbers smaller, seem less threatening. But she had decided on truth. 42 billion humans live in our colonies. We control 73 settled worlds and 114 stations. The chamber went completely silent. 42 billion was more than many of the smaller empires. 73 worlds was a significant territory. You have built an empire in secret, said a Vrex counselor coldly. It was not Drexthan. This was a younger, angrier voice. You hid from us while growing strong. Now you return to threaten us. We return to join you, Nari corrected. We do not want conflict. We want trade. We want cultural exchange. We want to learn from you and share what we have learned. What have you learned? Kresvar asked. What makes you think you are ready to join the galactic community after hiding for so long? Nari took a breath. This was the moment everything depended on. We learned that war solves nothing. We learned that different opinions do not require violence. We learned that strength without wisdom is just cruelty. We learned that the measure of a civilization is not how well it can destroy, but how well it can build. She looked around the chamber, meeting eyes from dozens of different species. We learned these lessons by failing. We nearly destroyed ourselves. We killed billions of our own people in stupid wars over stupid things. We poisoned our own planet. We almost ended our species. That is our shame. That is our history. Then why should we trust you? The angry Vrex counselor demanded. You admit you are violent. You admit you destroy things. Why should we believe you have changed? Because we saved your people. Officer Velthar's voice came from the entrance. He had not been scheduled to speak, but he walked into the chamber anyway. I am the officer who first discovered the human ship. I watched the battle. I saw what they could have done. They could have destroyed Admiral Velmon's entire fleet in seconds. Instead, they disabled our ships carefully. They protected our damaged vessels with their own shields. They treated our wounded. They are warriors, yes, but they are not monsters. The Vrex counselor looked angry at being interrupted, but Velthar continued. I have reviewed all the data from that battle. The humans never once targeted life support, never once aimed for crew sections. Every shot was precise, calculated to disable, but not kill. That level of control requires discipline that most species do not have. Counselor Drexathan stood up from his seat. He was the senior Vrex representative. Officer Velthar speaks truth. I have also reviewed the battle data. The humans showed restraint that our own forces did not show. We attacked them unprovoked. They defended themselves proportionally. Then they saved us. These are not the actions of conquerors. But what about their technology? A silicate representative pulsed. They have weapons and defenses beyond our own. They could defeat any of our fleets individually, perhaps all of our fleets combined. This makes them too dangerous. Does it? Nari asked. The Kelthoran Compact has superior strategic algorithms. The Silicate Confederacy has better mining and resource extraction. The Virex Empire has more ships than we do. Every species has advantages. Should we fear each other for being good at different things? She walked slowly around the center circle. Humans are good at warfare because we spent thousands of years practicing it. But we are also good at medicine, at engineering, at art, at philosophy. We are good at many things. We want to share those things. We want to trade our knowledge for yours. That is what civilizations do. They cooperate. What do you want from the Council? Kresevar asked directly. Recognition as a sovereign species, a seat on this council, the right to trade freely with other species, the right to defend ourselves if attacked. The same rights any species has. And if we refuse? The silicate representative asked. If we decide you are too dangerous to exist? Nari's expression became serious. Then you will have war. We do not want war. We will do almost anything to avoid it. But we will not allow ourselves to be destroyed because you are afraid. We have 30 ships here. We have thousands more at home. We are not asking permission to exist. We are asking to exist peacefully alongside you. The chamber erupted again. Some species saw this as a threat. Others saw it as simple honesty. The debate raged for hours. Nari answered every question calmly and clearly. She never lost her patience. She never raised her voice. Finally, Kresevar called for order. The council will vote on the human petition. But first, we must address a security concern. The chamber lights dimmed. A hologram appeared showing something disturbing. It was a message board from a dark network. Posts from various species talked about eliminating the human threat. Assassination plans, sabotage ideas, conspiracy theories about humans secretly conquering the galaxy. There are extremists among our populations, Kresevar said. They fear change. They fear humans. Some have made threats. We have intercepted plans for an attack on your delegation during this session. Nari felt cold. An attack here? On Zenith Prime? Yes. We have increased security, but we cannot guarantee your safety completely. Some counselors suggest you leave for your own protection. No, Nari said firmly. Running would prove we are afraid. We stay. We face this threat together with you. Show the galaxy that humans do not flee from danger. In the corridors outside the council chamber, Colonel Minho was coordinating security with Zenith Prime's own forces. He had brought 50 Marines, the maximum allowed. They were spread throughout the station, watching for threats. Contact, one of his Marines reported. Suspicious activity in Section 12. 3 individuals carrying concealed weapons. I see them, Minho replied. He was watching security feeds from a command post. Station security is moving to intercept. We provide backup only if needed. But the assassins were good. They had planned well. They split up, moving through maintenance corridors that station security did not monitor closely. They were heading toward the council chamber. Minho made a decision. All units, intercept pattern Gamma. We stop them before they reach the chamber. Non-lethal force only. We are guests here. We follow station laws. The Marines moved like shadows. They were trained for this. One assassin, a hired killer from a species called the Threxian, found his path blocked by a human Marine. The Marine was a woman named Hyeri, small but extremely skilled. "Stop where you are," she said calmly in Galactic Standard. The Threxian assassin pulled his weapon. Before he could fire, Hyeri moved. She was fast, incredibly fast. She disarmed him in 3 moves and had him unconscious on the floor in 5. The other assassins were caught just as quickly. Minho's Marines worked with station security to round them all up. The threat was over in minutes. In the council chamber, news of the thwarted attack arrived. Ambassador Nari stood calmly as Kresvar announced what had happened. Human security forces assisted our own personnel in stopping an assassination attempt. No one was killed. The attackers are in custody. Kresvar looked at Nari with what might have been respect. "You could have killed the assassins. Your Marines are clearly capable. Why show restraint?" "Because killing should always be the last option," Nari said. "Those assassins were wrong, but they can face justice now. If we had killed them, we would have proven we are the monsters they think we are. We chose differently." The vote was called. Each species representative voted on whether to recognize humanity as a sovereign power. The chamber was silent as the votes were counted. The result was close, very close, but it passed. Humanity was now officially part of the Galactic Council. Ambassador Nari allowed herself a small smile. The first step was complete. Now came the harder work of building trust and proving that humanity deserved its place among the stars. The formal treaty signing was scheduled for 1 week after the vote. During that week, the galaxy watched humanity closely. News networks from every species analyzed the council decision. Some celebrated, some protested. Everyone had an opinion. Admiral Suji arrived at Zenith Prime with 20 more human warships. She was older than most human officers, with gray hair tied back and eyes that missed nothing. She had commanded the human fleet for 15 years. She knew how to project strength without aggression. "Captain Taiho," she greeted him on the Indomitable's bridge. "You started something interesting." Taiho smiled slightly. "I followed orders, Admiral. Your orders. And you did well. But now comes the hard part. The galaxy knows we exist. Some want us dead. Some want to use us. Some just want to understand us. We need to be ready for all of it." She turned to the view screen showing Zenith Prime. "I brought additional ships because intelligence reports more threats. The extremists who tried to kill Ambassador Nari have allies. They will try again." "Let them try," Colonel Minho said from his station. "My Marines are ready." "I hope it does not come to that," Dr. Sora said quietly. She was reviewing cultural data from various species. "Violence will only prove the extremists right. We need to show patience." "Patience and vigilance," Suji agreed. "We can do both." On Zenith Prime, preparations for the treaty signing continued. The ceremony would take place in the Grand Hall, a massive chamber that could hold 50,000 beings. Every major species would send representatives. Media would broadcast the event across the entire galaxy. Ambassador Nari was in her quarters reviewing her speech for the ceremony when a message arrived. It was from an unexpected source, Counselor Drexthan of the Vrex Empire. "Ambassador Nari, I request a private meeting before the ceremony. There is something you should know. They met in a secure conference room. Drexthon looked tired. I have information from our intelligence services. There is a plan to sabotage the treaty signing. Multiple extremist groups have united for this purpose. They call themselves the Preservation Coalition. How credible is the threat? Nari asked. Very credible. They have members among station staff. They have weapons smuggled into Zenith Prime. They plan to attack during the ceremony. They want to kill you and other human representatives. They believe this will start a war that will destroy humanity before you become too powerful. Nari felt cold, but kept her voice steady. Have you told station security? Yes, we are increasing measures. But Zenith Prime is huge. Millions of beings live here. We cannot search everyone without causing panic. Drexthan leaned forward. I am telling you this because you should postpone the ceremony. It is too dangerous. If we postpone, the extremists win. They delay recognition. They make us look weak or afraid. No, we proceed as planned. Nari thought for a moment. But thank you for the warning. I will prepare contingencies. She contacted Admiral Suji immediately after the meeting. The threat is real and imminent. Can we protect the ceremony? We can try, Suji said. But in a room with 50,000 beings, there are too many variables. If the attackers are willing to die, they can cause significant damage. Then we do not give them the chance. I have an idea. It is risky, but it might work. Meanwhile, a young human civilian named Jiwon was exploring Zenith Prime. She was only 19 years old, the daughter of colonists. She had won a lottery to visit the station during the historic treaty signing. She wanted to see other species, learn about their cultures, maybe make some friends. She was in a market district when she overheard something strange. Two beings, one silicate and one from a species she did not recognize, were talking in a corner. They thought they were alone. They thought nobody would understand their mixed language dialect. But Jiwon was a linguistics student. She understood enough. The device is in place, the silicate pulsed. It will detonate during the signing. The humans will be blamed. War will be inevitable. Jiwon's heart raced. She carefully moved away and found the nearest security station. I need to report a bomb threat, she told the guard. I heard people talking about an explosive device in the Grand Hall. The guard looked skeptical. A 19-year-old human girl reporting conspiracies? But protocol required investigation. Come with me. Tell me exactly what you heard. The security response was immediate. Teams swept the Grand Hall. They found the device hidden in a ventilation shaft. It was sophisticated, designed to look like station equipment. If Jiwon had not overheard the conversation, it would have gone undetected until it was too late. The bomb was disarmed. The conspirators were identified and arrested, but security discovered something worse. There were 3 more devices in different locations. The plot was larger than anyone had thought. We need to evacuate the station, the security chief told Ambassador Nari. No, Nari said firmly. That is what they want. Chaos, fear, cancellation of the ceremony. We proceed, but we change the location. Where? Admiral Suji asked. Nari smiled. We hold the ceremony on your flagship, the Iron Will. We invite all the delegates, but we provide transport on human ships. We control the security completely. It was a bold plan. Some delegates refused, calling it a trap, but most agreed. They were curious about human ships. They wanted to see the technology up close. The Iron Will was Admiral Suji's personal command ship. It was larger than the Indomitable, designed as a mobile command center. Its main hangar had been converted into a ceremonial hall. 50,000 beings could not fit, but 5,000 could. The most important representatives from each species received invitations. On the day of the signing, Human ships transported delegates from Zenith Prime to the Iron Will. Security was absolute. Every being was scanned, every item was checked. Colonel Minho's Marines were everywhere, polite but watchful. The converted hangar looked beautiful. Human engineers had worked for days, creating a space that honored all galactic cultures. Flags from every species hung from the ceiling. The lighting was adjusted to be comfortable for eyes that saw different spectrums. Seats were designed for bodies of different shapes and sizes. Ambassador Nari stood at the center with High Chancellor Kresvar. Between them was a holographic document, the treaty that would make humanity official members of the Galactic Council. "Before we sign," Kresvar said, "Ambassador Nari has requested to speak. The Council grants this." Nari stepped forward and looked at the assembled beings. She felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Everything humanity had worked for depended on this moment. 2,000 years ago, humans nearly destroyed themselves. We fought wars over land, resources, beliefs, and pride. We built weapons that could end all life on our planet. We used those weapons. Billions died. Our world was poisoned. Our civilization collapsed. The hall was completely silent. Some humans escaped. They traveled to the edge of the galaxy and built new homes. They could have forgotten Earth. They could have moved on. But they did not. They remembered. They studied what went wrong. They asked hard questions. Why did we fight? Why did we hate? Why could we not find peace? Nari looked around the room. It took generations to find answers. Our children asked why their ancestors were so violent. We had to tell them the truth. We were afraid. We were proud. We thought being strong meant destroying anyone who disagreed with us. Our children asked what changed. We told them nothing changed except our understanding. Strength is not about destruction. Strength is about protecting what matters. Pride is not about being better than others. Pride is about being better than you were yesterday. Fear is not conquered by violence. Fear is conquered by understanding. She turned to face Kresvar directly. We return to the galaxy because we believe we have learned these lessons. But we know we are not perfect. We will make mistakes. We will sometimes fail. What we promise is that we will try. We will work with you, not against you. We will share our knowledge and learn from yours. We will defend ourselves if attacked, but we will never attack first. We will be warriors when necessary and peacemakers when possible. There was movement in the crowd. Young Jiwon stood up. She had been invited because she saved lives by reporting the bomb. "May I speak?" she asked nervously. Kresvar looked surprised but nodded. "You may." Jiwon walked to the center, trembling slightly. "I am nobody important. I am just a student, but I want to say something. I grew up hearing stories about old Earth, about the wars and the death. My teachers told me we had to be different. We had to learn from their mistakes." She looked at the delegates. "I am scared being here. There are species I have never seen before, cultures I do not understand, technologies I cannot imagine. But I am also excited, because different is not dangerous. Different is interesting. My generation of humans grew up knowing we would eventually meet you. We prepared by learning to listen, to respect, to appreciate differences." Her voice grew stronger. "The people who planted that bomb wanted you to fear us. They wanted to stop this treaty. They failed because people from different species worked together. Vrex security, human civilians, Kelthoran investigators, silicate analysts. We stopped them together. That is what the future should look like. Not one species dominating, all species cooperating." She finished and sat down quickly, embarrassed by her boldness. But the hall erupted in approval. Beings from dozens of species made sounds of agreement in their own ways. Clicks, pulses, whistles, and words in hundreds of languages all saying the same thing. Yes, this is right. High Chancellor Kresvar waited for silence. The young human speaks wisdom beyond her years. Perhaps that is the lesson here, that the next generation can be wiser than the last if we teach them well. He turned to Nari. Are you ready to sign the treaty, Ambassador? I am, Nari said. Then let us make history. They signed together, human hand and ancient energy tendril touching the holographic document at the same moment. The treaty was official. Humanity was now a recognized member of the Galactic Council. Celebrations began. Music from different cultures mixed in the air. Beings from different species talked and laughed together. Food from human colonies was served alongside delicacies from across the galaxy. It was chaotic and beautiful and hopeful. Captain Tejo watched from the observation deck of the Indomitable. Admiral Suji joined him. We did it, she said quietly. Humanity has a place in the galaxy now. We did the easy part, Tejo replied. Getting accepted. Now comes the hard part. Proving we deserve it, building relationships, maintaining peace. That will take generations. Do you think we can do it? Taiho thought about Ji-Wan speaking to the council, about Officer Velthar defending humans to his own people, about the species working together to stop the bombers, about the delegates celebrating together on Admiral Suji's ship. Yes, he said, I think we can. Not perfectly. Not without struggle, but we can try, and trying is enough to start. Far below, in the grand hall of the Iron Will, Ambassador Nari was talking with Counselor Drexthon. They were discussing trade agreements and cultural exchanges, practical things, building blocks for the future. Nearby, Colonel Minho was explaining human martial arts to a curious Kelthoran warrior. Dr. Sora was comparing medical techniques with a silicate physician. Pilot Jiho was excitedly describing flight maneuvers to a group of young beings from various species. This was not the end of anything. It was the beginning. The beginning of humanity's new relationship with the galaxy. The beginning of cooperation between species. The beginning of something that might eventually become true peace. Officer Velthar stood alone for a moment, watching everything. He thought about the day he detected that strange energy signature. How frightened he had been, how he never imagined it would lead to this. He had been wrong about humans. The galaxy had been wrong. They were not the violent primitives from ancient history. They were something new, something that had learned and grown and changed. Maybe, Velthar thought, that was the most important lesson of all. That species could change. That the past did not determine the future. That mistakes could be learned from instead of repeated. He smiled and went to join the celebration. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But today was for hope.